Hey guys, it's Barrett with the Camping Camper. Today we're going to talk about one of the best fire pits that I found to take around in the camper. That's the Ignik Firecan. It's light, it's portable. It's a little on the pricey side, but I think that it's worth it. And if you stick around after this intro, I'm going to show you why. All right guys, so today we're going to talk about one of the coolest things that I've ever seen in my life. It's the Ignik Firecan. This thing is a propane fire pit made from an ammo can. Now that is cool, I don't care who you are. Now as a lot of you know, I'm still a fan of the solo stove bonfire, but last year I did take it out of the camper because I just noticed I didn't use it that much anymore. And that's mainly due to the hassle of getting firewood. I do have a 2-year review on the solo stove bonfire, and I'll put a link in the description as well as up in the corner here. But you know, as far as wood fires go, we still think the solo stove is the only way to go. We continue to use one of them at home, and we also started using the M Combo gazebo tent, which has worked out well for us. But because of the gazebo tent, we tried out a propane fire pit instead, and it's worked great. But the problem was that all the propane fire pits that I could come across had a 50,000 BTU rating. Now this was a little too much for the little screen tent. It works, but it still gets a little bit hot in there, especially if you have the sidewalls on. So we would find ourselves taking the walls off or opening at least half of them, and it was still just a little much in there, even if you had the burner turned all the way down. However, I will say that on our 5-sided M Combo tent, which I do have a video on as well, and we'll link that down in the description, but I will say that we fit 8 or 9 people in there, and we were all comfortable around the campfire when it was real cold and rainy out, and so that kind of made me a believer in this system. Now the other downside to the propane fire pit is that it takes up just as much space as the solo stove bonfire did, and I'm really trying to clear out some space in the camper. The specific one that we used before was one, I think it was called the Beacon Leisure. We got it from Costco. We got it for like $99. I think it's called Outdoor Living or something similar to that. The ones on Amazon I actually like better. I think they burn a little bit better, but they were about $50 more, and I ran across that one at Costco. I will say also to look out for those at the end of the year if you're interested in them, because I have seen them on clearance for $69, and I hear $59 right now, and I'd swoop it up all day long for that. I will say that I've been overall pleased with that fire pit. So when I first ran across the Ignik Firecan, my first thought was, that's just plain cool. Well, the second thought was, it probably had less BTUs than my other fire pit, which was actually something that I was looking for. I know a lot of people don't look for something that puts out less heat. That's something I was looking for the specific reason that I wanted it for, and that was for being inside the screen tent. I also like it because it will both store more easily and work better for the specific reason that I wanted it for. As far as the BTUs, this Firecan puts out approximately 38,000 BTUs, which I feel is just about right for the screen tent. I will say it was a little bit more pricey than I expected. It was $199, and it's available on Amazon. I will have an affiliate link down in the description below if you're interested in picking one up. I will say also that I was sent this model for no charge as an honest review. It's actually a blemished unit, but truthfully, I've not found any blemishes on it whatsoever. I do like the design. Besides just the cool factor, it just feels like it's powder coated. I'm not sure if it is or not, but the fold up legs have pads on the bottom so that they won't mar the surface whenever it's folded up and in storage. I also like that the mix of the bright orange color and the way it contrasts with the black color of the can itself. It does have a very small footprint when it's folded up for storage compared to the other propane fire pit that we've been using. Now let's go over the setup for this thing. I will say that the legs are very easy to fold out and deploy, as they're just on the bottom. Here's the non-marring surface that I was talking about, but all you do is flip them out. It's no big deal. Flip all 4 of them out. Boom, you're ready to go. Set it down on the ground. You don't have to worry about it burning the grass or anything like that. One reason I like the brightly colored lid is because, you know, it's easy to find in the event that you have a hard time remembering where you placed it after you're using the fire pit, because you're not going to have the lid on while you're using it, obviously. Now it comes off by unlatching the ammo can over here, just like a normal ammo can. It lifts up, and then this whole lid just lifts right off the top. No big deal. And just a side note, I actually leave the lighter and the propane hose in here, so you know, it's really portable. I like it. I will say that the hardest part for the initial setup was removing the rubber cover that they have on the quick connect gas valve here, because that thing, it was so tight I couldn't hardly get it off. I ended up having to use like a pair of pliers just to gently do it so I wouldn't hurt the surface of the quick connect here, but that thing was on there. Now after you have the legs out and you have that off, all you do is you take the hose out right here. All you do is you take the hose out and you take the quick connect, put the quick connect here, screw the other end on the propane bottle, and boom, you're ready to go. Now it does say in the directions that you're not supposed to use a propane cylinder greater than 20 pounds. I'm not sure what the deal is there, but it plainly says it, so that's what I would do. There's not a built-in igniter, however it is easy to light. You just turn the gas cylinder on and then hold the lighter in the hole on the side. As you turn the gas valve on the regulator, it'll automatically light, and you just turn it up to the desired level that you want the flame. They do have a special propane cylinder called a gas growler. It's a little bit smaller than 20 pounds. I think it's more about 10 or 12 pounds, but it does work just fine with a regular 20-pound tank. I just put it in a milk crate and keep it in the back of the truck. That way I have fuel for it, and it does seem to last a lot longer than the other one. Which I will say that the other propane fire pit, the 50,000 BTU, for our use, it would last a good 3 weekend trips. But remember, with propane, you have it easy on, easy off. So you actually don't use it as much as a wood fire, but you have it every time that you want to fire. As far as the use of the fire pit, I believe that this fire pit's great for our screen tent, which is the main reason that I bought it. I know I keep saying that, but it's a pretty big deal to me. At first, I felt like the last 25% of the gas flame didn't really have a difference whenever you adjust that regulator. You could only hear a little bit more gas coming out. However, when it's dark, you can actually see a significant difference in the flame whenever you put it all the way up on high. As far as the propane usage with this, I know I told you it was less, but I will say that we used it quite a bit during the M22, and the tank still felt mostly full whenever we left, but you know, that's the only time I've used it for a longer period of time, so I'm not sure how exactly it's doing, but obvious, if it burns less BTUs, it's going to use less propane, because that's just simple math, right? Now the functionality of this product was great. It did warm up the area of my screen tent, but it wasn't overbearing like the larger propane fire pit that I used before. It also felt like it gave us a lot more leg room in the screen tent and was less of a hazard than the larger fire pit. It does give off a pretty glow. This can probably be better if you add some lava rocks for a nicer ambiance. The company does say that you can use lava rocks in these. Lava rocks will of course add a little bit of weight, and then if you store your hose in there like I do, then you're probably not going to be able to do that either. But it will add a nice ambiance and probably put out a little bit more heat that way, because the heat's going to continue to radiate off of these lava rocks. I do have one question as far as using lava rocks though. I did see one video where somebody used some and they were a little bit larger, which seems to probably negate the issue that I have here. But if you put lava rocks in there, you have to make sure that you can still get the lighter from the entry hole to the burner to ignite the flame and not have that blocked. And it seems to me like if you use too small of a stone or something like that, then the shifting during movement there can block that pretty easily and make it hard to light. I really don't know, never tried it, but that's just my thoughts on it. There's also not a grate or anything like that over the burner, which could facilitate using rocks easier in my opinion. So I did use an infrared thermometer and I measured the temperatures. The ammo case itself seemed to get about 300 degrees, whereas the burning tube measured between 500 and 600 degrees. I did time it after burning it for an extended period of time, and it took about 7 minutes for it to cool down enough to handle it safely, but it was still pretty warm at that time. It does have some heat resistant soft handles, but you still have to be careful whenever you use those, because you're pretty close to the metal of the ammo can itself whenever you're trying to grab them, and you could easily burn yourself. I would personally let it cool down before putting the lid back on, but theoretically I think it would probably be fine put on while it's hot, but I wouldn't recommend it. So far I'm very happy with this product. I love the ambiance that it provides and the warmth, as you notice, as soon as you step into the screen tent, which was really weird because on this trip, we only had 2 of the 5 sides up on the screen tent just to block some wind. And the doorway in 3/4 of the screen tent was open, but as soon as you walked through that door, you felt a significant temperature difference. So like I say, if you are interested in this product, there's a affiliate link down in the description. The channel does make a little bit of money on it. We don't make a whole lot, but if you're interested in buying it, you're gonna buy it anyway, please use our link. We appreciate it. It does support the channel, and it allows us to buy more stuff that we need to fix the camper with. Thanks for following our adventure, and stay tuned for next week's video, and we're gonna bring you some grade A content. Very nice.
Do not forget to hit that subscribe button.